Billions of years ago, our Earth looked very different. And then suddenly it was impacted by an object the size of Mars. And from that collision, the moon was formed. I don't know if you knew that, but according to NASA and a lot of
Science!
people who look into the sky and the history of where we came from, that's the most common thread of where they think the origin of the moon is from, which is what this episode is about. We're going to be talking about the glowing orb that's in the sky. It's responsible for everything from your mood, the mood swings that you have, the questionable texts at 2 a.m. Yeah, the moon. You've tracked her. You've howled at her. Well, some of you maybe, I don't know. And you've blamed her. But really, do you know her? Do you? This is Around the Cauldron, and I'm your host, Zachary the Witch. And yes, we are talking about the lunar majesty herself, the Earth's moon. Here's some things that I learned from NASA.gov. When the Apollo mission went there, they found the chemical composition of moon and Earth rocks are very similar. The moon was once covered in an ocean of magma.
Even after they pay me the money, I'm still gonna melt every city on the planet with liquid hot magma.
Meteorites have shattered and melted rocks on the moon's surface through impacts. Lava used to flow up through the cracks in the moon's crust, and that is what filled its impact basins. And then lunar soil, you know how it's all white and powdery looking? Lunar soil is made of pulverized rock that was created by meteorite impacts. So, first, the moon, billions of years ago, slams into an early baby version of the Earth and then forms itself to be what is now stuck in orbit around us. But it's been something that we and our ancestors for a millennia have seen in the sky and have used to dictate our origins and tell stories of creatures and mysteries and magic. So let's talk about the moon. First things first, the moon is in astrology attached to emotions. She tends to be the emotional archivist of the cosmos. And I know that some of my listeners are into astrology, and let's get into that. The sun, in comparison to the moon, is associated with ego, identity, being in the spotlight, while the moon is the shadow or the hidden. It's your deeper feelings and your subconscious, but it's also our comforts and what is naturally under the surface for us, the things that make us cry if we're thinking about it in the shower. She rules water, intuition, memory, dreams, and let's be real, a whole lot of unspoken chaos. The moon is ruled by the sign of Cancer, so yes, she is clingy, she is moody, maternal, and it's all at once. Just think Divine Mother meets reality TV meltdown.
I am your mother!
Now a word from our sponsors.
Are you having trouble with the dead? Do you think your husband is in need of a happy accident? Do you want to make nice with your wealthy and distant great Aunt Moira who has one foot in the grave? Are you sick and tired of specters taking your toothbrush? Is that ass too fat or is their brain too small? Are you a victim of a ghoul-related crime? If you answered yes to any of these, well, come on down. You called the world's leading ethereal seductress, the Witch of the Arroyo. Call now before the spirits call you. If you act now, she'll throw in a free animal pet psychic reading and tell you everything you want to hear.
Oh my God.
Even if your cat hates you and wants to eat your soul. So what are you waiting for, you stupid bitch? Pick up the phone. Oh wait, you're already on it. Give us a call. Leave us a message. Push the right connection.
We're sorry, the number you have dialed is not in service at this time.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
So when it comes to the moon, a lot of witches have their associations with the moon. And I want to go through the phases. So view this or listen to this as your lunar cheat sheet. There are 8 traditional phases in a moon cycle, but we're going to hit the highlights because you didn't tune in for an astronomy lecture. You came here for magic and mysticism. So the first one is the new moon. It is void, it is empty, it is the cosmic reboot. So for a magical practice, it is the best time for your intention, your shadow work, and for saying, you know what? I am done with Chad. Chad can go fuck himself.
Hey, can I talk to you for a minute?
Sure, what's up?
I need to talk to you about last night, Chad.
What do you mean?
I told you, I get really offended when you talk about my pinky toe.
Babe, I mean,
It does not look like a Cheeto, Chad. You go fuck yourself.
The waxing crescent is very, I don't know, baby witch energy. It's about planting seeds, getting yourself hyped up, letting yourself be motivated for something that you need to manifest and work on. The first quarter of the moon is centered around decisions and challenges. You might fight a bitch or finally open that bill. Either way, it's about growth. The waxing gibbous, this time, and it's about fine-tuning your intention. So this is where whatever you began on a new moon, or whatever you began when the moon was growing again, you double check your spell jar. You double check and see if anything's changed. What do you feel? You tune in. And then a full moon. That is peak energy. It's maximum power. It is the main character moment. But it's also a breakdown in the bathtub. Depending on how aligned you are with this energy, it can be perfect for release, for rituals, and sometimes summoning things from the ether. It's a time to do divination, dive deeper into your occult studies. And then we go to the other side after the moon is full. It begins to get small again. So waning gibbous. We reflect and we learn. We have a dream journal. We have a journal that we refer back to. We talk to our guides, and we don't ignore red flags again and again and again. Chad. The last quarter is cleaning house, both spiritually and literally. It's a great time to banish. It's a great time to declutter, or basically dump anything that's stale. And then lastly, the waning crescent. This is a time of rest. It's a time of withdrawal. It's a time where people hibernate like a magical raccoon with trauma. I don't know, but you get it. So those are the phases here, and that's what they're associated with in spell work, in ritual, in working with the moon. And the whole cycle is about 29 and a half days, also known as why so many of us sync with it in our life. I mean, it's kind of crazy if you're someone that has been magical your whole life, but especially if those of you that have attained, more of the book knowledge of these associations with the moon, and this is its cycle, and it's feminine energy. So a lot of women are more in tune with it, and a lot of women and their cycles are in tune with it. So many of us are in sync with it. We have feelings attached to it. And it doesn't even matter whether we mean it or not. Because I just think about when I stand outside and I look up at the sky and it's a full moon, whenever that is, every 29 and a half days. And I think about how many other billions of people are presently doing that. But also people who aren't even alive anymore that did that. People who didn't even know what the hell it was. They just thought it was like some giant thing in the sky that could see them, or it was like the eye of God, or, it's just interesting to think about. All right, we're going to go through this part because naming things is so witchy and cool. But each month has a traditional full moon name, and that is attributed and courtesy of native and colonial influences. So here are a few. January is referred to as the wolf moon. That is deep winter. That is a time of isolation. It's very much about, hunkering down and sheltering in the cold. March is the worm moon, where the earth begins to thaw. And that's why, worms are starting to come out of the ground. The ice is beginning to melt. That's when things start to come to life. We just recently, at my house, had a full moon circle for the flower moon, which is associated with May. And it was really beautiful. And again, this is a time of summer is coming. The goddess is, coming into her power and her full brightness and growth and beauty. And then we go into June, which is the strawberry moon, because it's fruitful, and that's when like those fruits are in harvest, etc., etc. My favorite, though, of course, is the hunter's moon. It's high magic, ancestors, shadow work, the veil thins, and so does your patience.
Fuck you, Chad.
You know, and if you remember from my last episode where we talked about becoming a witch and learning about the witch's wheel of the year, to me, October is that point where it's sort of like a new year spiritually. And then in the springtime, that's for me the official new year and when it starts. And I have a lot of things to say about that, but I won't do it on this episode, other than the fact that we never should have changed the calendar to make New Year in January. That's ridiculous. What about the moon when it's full? And not just 29 and a half days in a month, but what if there's 2 in a month? What if there's a second one? That's right. It's a blue moon. It's rare, it's wild. And in magic, it's a spell surge. There's different levels of power, so use it wisely because it's a blessing, because it's an additional magical increase. And to me, too, it also is chaos. A lot of the time during blue moons, there's a lot more people going to the ER, and there's a lot more weird shit going on in the world. I mean, it's not a coincidence. The moon and magic. What is it? How does it work? Is it legit connected to the source of power? Yeah, the moon is used in all the things. It's used in divination. It's used in symbolism, manifestation, banishings, fertility spells, dream work, and even the mundane stuff like deciding when you need to cut your hair or when to plant basil. It's got both spiritual and scientific connections to us as humans because, like I said, our ancestors grew up with this thing floating in the sky. And so there's a lot of things that are attached to it for all of us, you know? The moon is really good for charging tools and crystals. I do recommend just, like we talked about, do it under a full moon. That's when it's supercharged. If you want to vanish into the void and start over, the new moon, because it's a dark moon. It's empty. It's nothing. Do you want to sync with your cycle to lunar flow? That is womb, that's a tongue twister. That is womb witchery 101. Just pay attention to the moon. Pay attention to where it is every time that happens if you're a female. It's just, or you have a uterus, or, I don't know what the terminology is anymore, but I'm trying. The moon is also the key player in timing spells, especially if you're following traditional witchcraft. Hoodoo or folk practices, a lot of us folks only cast during a waxing phase for growth and during a waning one to release. And yes, your results will vary if you ignore the moon's rhythms. Just like if you ignore your Tinder date and you're on your phone the entire time, it's going to piss somebody off and it's not going to go your way, So, if this sounds like a lot, here's some modern tips from me. Your favorite witch. Yes, me. I'm assuming it's me. That's why you're here. If you're overwhelmed by lunar cycles, start simple. Track your mood, track dreams, and see what phase it is. Patterns will begin to emerge because it's ingrained in us to find and see patterns. That's how we survive. Another tip is make moon water during a full moon. It's really easy. It doesn't need to be blessed by anybody. It doesn't need to come from a church. All you have to do is get a bowl, put some water in it, maybe some petals or herbs or whatever. But like I said, if you're overwhelmed, keep it simple. Put that jar overnight, and then it's charged with the moon as it shone on it all throughout the evening, because that's how easy it is for the celestial body to give you her power. Well, a little bit. And yeah, you can drink it, you can bathe in it, you can throw it on your ex, whatever you want to do. You can, I have other horrible things I could say, but I won't. You don't have to do a ritual every full moon. Some people are like, oh, but I'm a bad witch. I didn't even blah, blah, blah. It's like, that's not real life. Sometimes the most magical thing for you to do is to just watch and appreciate. Hey, thanks for existing. Thanks for being a part of the cycles of the earth and the tide, and for helping change everything every day, every 29 and a half days even, There's a lot of honor and respect that comes with working with anything that is celestial and powerful. I think a lot of the time when people are so ambitious to just do rituals all the time, whether it's a new moon or a full moon, which is the most common when people do that, it's it's from my experience, and this is just me. A lot of the time I hear the same things, which we're asking for things. We're expecting to always get something just because we showed up for that one time of the phase of the moon. We should also give a little bit back, show some appreciation, paint a picture, paint a portrait of the moon, do something, whether it's a god or goddess or the moon herself, show some appreciation. It's a relationship, right? If we're going to get all like woo woo about it, that's what it is. You have to have a relationship with it, and only you are going to understand it. The moon, like I said before, is our subconscious, the deeper things, the hidden things. And so that means that she is a perfect mirror, because the moon, while she does become very bright in our sky on a clear evening, she doesn't give us light, she reflects it. And so do we. We will shine brightly based on what we're willing to face, what we can release, what we realign with. Whether we're howling or hiding or healing, just try to remember that every phase is sacred, even the messy ones. So go outside, look up, look at the sky, remind yourself that even in the dark that you are whole, that you are here for a reason, and it's impactful, much like the impact of the moon terrorizing the young baby Earth. And, what's that trauma about? Had they talked about it? You think that they've healed? Anyway, thanks for joining me on Around the Cauldron. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. And also share with me if you yell into the void. Leave a comment, rate this podcast. I'm also on all the streaming things. And if you want to be really helpful, go and give reviews and rate every single one of them that's on every other thing. But whatever gets the message across. And until next time, keep your broom steady, your crystals charged, and your lunar apps updated. I can't believe I just said that. What era of life are we living in? Anyway, blessed be. I'll see you soon.
Babe, I mean,
It does not look like a Cheeto, Chad. You go fuck yourself.